Welcome to The Gap, where it's our mission to bridge the gap between training and on-field performance.
I'm Brett Hart, owner of Hitman Performance.
And I'm Dan Labadia, the owner of Jack Javelin.
Hope you guys enjoy the show.
All right, ready? And go.
Dude, that's so sick that we have that now.
I know, that's fire. Dude, we're in like a legit studio now.
So much better than the phone.
I know. So much better than the phone. Now I don't have to worry about checking it.
Just always going to look at that now.
Yeah.
Manny Ramirez. Shout out Manny Ramirez.
I know. It's fire. So we got a new intro. What do you think?
Fire.
What's funny is that the last episode, it ends by us saying, oh, we got a new outro. We don't have to say anything. And then it just cuts out because it wasn't ready by the time I was done editing it. And I was just like, for me to
go back and put it in.
For me to go back to put it in like 3 days after, I was like, because then it takes like 2 hours to upload. And then, you know, we got to like write the descriptions and stuff before it comes out next week. So I was like, I was doing it Sunday. I was like, it's got to go up.
Yeah, it's good. Whatever. It's good enough.
Yeah, the mics are better, whatever.
We'll get it next time.
Yeah,
dude.
Now going forward, it should have it in.
We're almost at episode 100.
Really? What are we at now?
91.
90. Really?
Well, I mean, 89 posted, but I think this is 90.
No. So yeah, let me see.
You stop putting the numbers on them.
Well, that's because Charlie's been doing it. So I've been letting him. I gotta text him to put the numbers back. But I've been letting him kind of play around with some different stuff with like the description and the titles on both my YouTube and the podcast. Because I'm like, you know, if that's gonna be your thing and you're gonna be in charge of it, you gotta experiment with it, see what works. Because I mean, I could teach him everything I've learned, but until he sees, oh, this video did really well or this one tanked, it's kind of like that's what sticks with you. But I could go back and do it myself, but going forward, we got to put the numbers on just so we can reference. So yeah, 87, and then 88 was out yesterday. So then that means 89 is going out next week. So I think this is 90. Damn.
Yeah, we're almost at 100.
Yeah, well, we should hit 100 by, what is it, June? We should hit 100 by like late August, which will be pretty much right when we started, which is good. Because even if we did miss a couple of episodes here and there, we were always able to find another purpose, like another content piece that I had on my YouTube that we could repurpose, which was good. Just because I mean that's Hermosi method. It's like
obviously
don't have a podcast ready to go out, just post a YouTube video on it.
Is that your quote of the week right there?
Yeah. Segments. So
segments.
What's something that you've been ripping about this week?
Ripping? I just noticed this week that kids just don't know how to work hard in the gym. Like they just they think they work hard, but they don't really know how to. Like perfect example. I'll just give an example because it's easier to just say that than try to explain it. Doing TRX rows as many reps as possible. As many reps as possible. When you see that in the program, when I write until you literally can't do one more. They're usually on bodyweight exercises like chin-ups, push-ups, TRX rows. Like they're not going to, or split squat iso holds, like as long as you possibly can. It's not going to be like a deadlift or a squat, like nothing crazy like that for majority of the kids. Some of them I could do it. But the kid stops at like 15. And I'm like, how many was that? And he goes, it was 15. I go, was that as many as possible? He goes, it felt like it. I go, dude, you trained to like mild discomfort. Like it just started to burn and then you stopped. I go, that's not as many reps as possible. Like I literally made him do it again until he like, fell on the floor and I couldn't do a single one after. I was like, that is what I want. And he was able to get 25 in the next set. I was like, don't count. Just go until you can't do it. Did the exact same form, technique. He did 10 extra reps than the previous set where he said that was his max. This is going to be a rising senior in high school. Like, I don't know, like, I do know about you. Like, we knew what failure was by the time we got to senior in high school. Or at least we knew what that felt like.
Dude, I pulled my hamstring or glute when I was
great start to that.
No, well, when I was like a freshman in high school, you know, I was doing actually leg press, which I hate now. It's one of my least favorite exercises.
Hack squat's better.
So I was doing the leg press, and you know, I would do like maybe as a freshman like 3 plates on each side. So 6 plates total. But then I did a drop set and I just did 1 plate. And you got to remember, I'm like 160 pounds at this point. And so I was just like, I'm going to go all out. And I went till like 23 reps or something. And this is like the fifth set. And I couldn't do any more. And the next day I woke up like, oh my God, I can't move. Like that second day soreness hit me immediately.
Yeah, you got that Tom Platz method.
Yeah, so then I went into squat with the football team the next day and I couldn't go down, and then it just stayed like that for 3 months. Where I was like, I couldn't run, jump, or squat. It was just, it sucked.
Probably get yourself rhabdo.
I don't know what it was, dude, but it was just like, that was my first experience of, kind of getting hurt in the weight room.
Yeah, well, that was pretty dumb to do that the day before you went to go squat with the football team.
Well, what's funny about that is I don't even remember having that sense of, oh, I'm doing legs tomorrow, I shouldn't do legs today. Because I think this is probably when I started reaching that brink of being able to feel what soreness was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're still young.
Because I was 14 or whatever.
You just want to crush legs.
Yeah.
I mean, the most sore, I've been very sore in my life, but the first time that I experienced that on the brink of rhabdo and you just can't move was me and Sansone. We did 10 sets of 10 back. Granted, my back squat max at this time when I did this was maybe 335, 365, around that range. I never maxed out around this time when I did this. I think it was a junior in high school. So I have no idea what my one rep is. I failed 405 that year, but so maybe like 365. I shouldn't even have tried 405. It was just straight down. But we did, so my max was 365, say. I did 225 on back squat, 10 sets of 10, 90-second rest in between. It was basically just like I go, you go, I go, you go. And did 10 sets, 100 reps at 225. And we did Bulgarian split squats. We did RDLs. We did hamstring curls, calves, core. We were there for like 2 hours, just did all legs. I literally couldn't walk for 2 weeks. My legs were so sore. And I tried going catching and hitting. And there's one bullpen I had to do, and I was like, dude, I can't do it. I just can't go down. Even I could sit on the bucket. I had to get the bucket out. Just sit down. I'll do this.
Like the parent that's coaching.
I was like, my legs hurt so bad. And that was probably the most sore I've been. Like, I was sore after the 24-mile run, like up Sleeping Giant. Like, I was sore then. Like, but that went away relatively quick compared to that leg day. Was just something. And that's how, like, I view training too. Like, I'm not saying you have to go to that extreme and get that type of soreness. Like, there's always too much. That's why we coach now. We learn from our mistakes. We understand that we probably did some stupid stuff. These kids probably can't do some stupid stuff. But I feel like the pendulum shifted too far from training like super hard, like heavy, hard, badass. Like you're not talking in between sets. Like you're just going, like you're getting after it, to the other side of like, I don't want to be too sore. I got a game tomorrow. I got practice later. Like, I don't want to do this and that. There's times and places where, yeah, you have to accommodate for your sport. That's obviously the case. Like, you're not using the weight room just to be good in the weight room. But when are you going to just put the foot on the gas and, like, crush the weight room? Like, you've been saying you're taking it easy for the last 3 years. You haven't gotten any better. Like, you're not even starting. I was like, what's the point? Like, you should be in the weight room crushing yourself. Like, this is the time you got to do it.
Well, I think that goes with information being more available, and then also now
the whoop.
The whoop. But also now just having so many different, high-end training facilities, and then a lot of kids are learning more about the mobility and the optimal way of doing things, that because those kids don't know how to really work hard yet, they might be overexposed to optimization and ice baths and steak on the wooden cutting board, and
it has to be the wooden cutting board.
that type of stuff, where I think that stuff is good for longevity, but it's one of those things where that stuff doesn't really matter until you can do the thing. And I think that goes back to what Alec Blennis was talking about, like the
6-minute mile.
But about the side where he was talking about the food dyes and stuff. Like
how seed oils, food dyes.
That's exactly where you got that, that Gen Pop overweight family member at my cousin's graduation party telling me that I shouldn't be drinking a Coke Zero.
It's like, dude,
It's like, all right, I think I'm all right.
It's like your resting heart rate's 120. It's like,
Yeah, I think this is the wrong debate to have.
dude, you're standing here in zone 3.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard a lot about that stuff too, where you know I've heard a lot of people say that about my diet, and I'm like, all right, well maybe my diet isn't optimal for avoiding chemicals, but it's pretty optimal to be a hybrid coach.
Dude, that's what the guy said when I was posting my cigars. Like, don't you think this goes against your advice for healthy living? Like, no.
It's better than alcohol.
Pretty healthy 90% of the time. And if my 10% is I'll get ice cream on the weekends occasionally, I'll have a pizza or I'll smoke a cigar, I will smoke a cigar. If it wasn't a Tuesday night, I'd probably go after and smoke one after this.
Didn't earn it yet.
I gotta earn it. I gotta earn it with the pod. I gotta earn it with the week. But like, I work out 6 times a week.
Yeah.
I do cardio on average 5 times a week. Like, I get close to 15,000 steps a day, and I eat pretty clean. I was like, I don't think the one cigar every day and the weekend, this adds up to like maybe 3, is going to destroy my life.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even inhale anyway with a cigar. So.
Yeah, and like, even if like like that guy that's caring about like his life expectancy and trying to live to never die, and whoever that guy is, I don't even know his name.
Paul Saladino.
Not him, but yeah, the seed oil video is so funny. He rips for like 10 minutes about it to some random stranger.
Got him so mad.
Got him pissed. But I'm like, if you're so chronically stressed about optimization and living longer, that's probably going to be a net negative on your longevity anyways, because you're going to be stressed every single day about the microplastics in water. There's just a study that came out that there's more microplastics in a glass water bottle than a plastic one now. Like, that's what some research is saying.
What do you mean a glass water bottle?
You know, like the Saratogas.
Oh, yeah.
And the mountain valleys. And like the glass, everyone's like, you have to drink in glass to avoid the microplastics as you're drinking out of a plastic.
The Fiji
thing right now. The Fiji's plastic. But there's a recent article. I didn't read into it, so this could be completely wrong and misinformation. But there was an article that said there's potentially more microplastics in a glass water bottle versus plastic. So is your optimization actually meaning anything?
Yeah.
Are you even
at some
doing
point,
anything?
At some point, you can't really.
You can't avoid everything.
Yeah.
It's in everything. Like,
well,
like the lights.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Was remember that time where I told you that girl had this whole post about, like the best way to do it is to have a cow on your land and split it with the family next to you. And I just commented, I live in an apartment.
Dude,
man, have you seen the housing market? I can't afford 2 acres to raise a cow.
Not everyone wants to live on a farm either. I don't want to raise a cow.
Yeah.
Dude, but that just reminded me of an Instagram post. I saw this probably close to a year ago now. This dude made a really long post about saying you shouldn't work out in commercial gyms or just in private gyms because it's unhealthy for you to work out in there because of the lighting. And I do, shut up. I was like, shut up. The lighting? Really? Like the waves of the lights? It's like, dude, if you're working out, like, I'm sure you're going to beat the defects of the lighting. Like, I'd rather you be in the commercial gym working out than you not doing anything.
But also, what's the goal, right? Like, my grandfather right now, 87, okay, smoked cigarettes from...
Dog. Already dog.
Smoked cigarettes from the time he was 20 to 45. Drank wine every day growing up. Right.
This is a big Italian right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Just huge. Owned his own deli. Probably had a salami grinder every day for 50 years. Okay. So it's like, what's the goal here?
Yeah.
Like, what are we trying to accomplish?
He's
we're
87.
trying to live to 150.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
What's the point?
That sounds terrible.
What's the point, dude? So that's where I look at that stuff. And I mean, even with how we live compared to how a normal person lives, where even if they're not overweight but they walk every day, there's probably realistically a 10% difference. Like, we do all of the extra stuff obviously because we enjoy training and being really fit, and I mean, there's definitely the component to being able to lift heavy weights and move really well into your 50s and 60s and 70s and
Like,
stuff.
still being able to have some pop and like get off the chair and everything.
But in terms of overall life expectancy, if you train like us, you're gonna, say you live till 100, right? But then if you don't train like us and you live, and you're just not overweight and you walk, it's like you have an entire life of training versus non-training, and at the end of the day, the difference is probably not going to be that great of a difference.
Maybe 5 years.
Yeah, maybe. But it's more of obviously the quality of life that you're looking at. But my point is, like what's the goal, right? When you're trying to optimize and stuff, at a certain point, you got to choose what's going to be priority to you, and just live for, performance and body composition, general health, whatever.
Well, just working out in general, you feel better. Like every time.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't feel good, you just slug yourself through a 30, 45-minute workout. Like after, you're going to feel better. And like the rest of your day is probably going to be better off that way anyways, because just you got to win. Like if you work out pretty early and you get your heart rate up, you get some sweat going, the endorphins release in your brain, the dopamine response is there, and you feel pretty good. If training is all you care about, which is us, and you have that bad training day, then the inverse happens. You're like, your whole rest of your day just sucks. I mean, I've had that happen multiple times where I've had a bad training session and it's just like, I should have just not even worked out today. Yeah. I don't look at it as, oh, I got some movement in. I go, that sucked. I was like, that's a terrible day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely could derail you. And that's how I was feeling. Like I told you last podcast, I was talking about how I stopped finding training enjoyable the last couple of weeks because everything I was doing, a lot of the stuff I was doing was painful because of my arm, but then I also was just anticipating the surgery where now I feel like I'm kind of just over it. Mm-hmm. But the initial news of getting the surgery and now having to wait 4 months or whatever and then go through the rehab process, and then I'm just, all right, now I got to film these videos. It wasn't, it took the life out of it. And that's where I was actually reflecting the other day of, I always try to stay competitive with myself and those around me. And I knew that, with me being around Nevin and Jordan a lot the last 3 years, I knew they outworked me because they were competing college athletes, and I was trying to find the balance between coaching and running a business and my own training. So I kind of like obviously compare myself to you a little bit because you're more in that realm than they are. And then I was like thinking about the other day, I was like, this is like definitely a time where I feel like I'm being outworked by you for sure. Because I see all the stuff that you're doing, and I'm just like, I got to get back to that at some point soon. But it's just, life has been going 100 miles an hour right now.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue you're outworking me in the business side of things. We have the inverse thoughts like all the time. Like you think I'm outworking you in the weight room side, but then I see.
I know you are.
But then I see you do all your social media stuff, and like I could definitely do a lot more on social media.
Yeah.
Like, so I think I'll keep working out. Don't worry. Keep doing my cardio.
Yeah. I'll keep growing the business. Don't worry. I'll keep you accountable.
Keep rising up. Dude, something real quick about that post that I was referencing about the lights. I just remembered I did comment on it. I was like, dude, I'm in the Northeast. It's dark. It's cold. It's like 8 degrees out. His whole thing was like like you have to work out outside. You have to get natural sunlight. I go, dude, it's dark until 9 a.m. and then it's light up until 5.
Yeah, during the
winter. And then it's dark. So like during the winter, if you work a 9 to 5, you're not going to get any natural sunlight really if you're working behind the desk unless you leave work early. Like you're just stuck in the office box. And then you go out and then you're telling them not to go to a commercial gym to go work out and get some type of activity in because of the lighting. And he goes, well, our ancient ancestors and the Vikings worked out in the winter and the year. And I was like, dude, where do you live? Like, what reality are you in right now? Because like the people I see are not doing that. Like they are not, like I'm lucky some of these people are just even in the gym and I don't care about the lighting. It's just, that post just made zero sense to me, and everyone's commenting like, this is so true. Like none of you guys work with people.
Yeah.
Like none of you guys are coaches.
Well, I mean, I've talked about that a lot too, is how even with me, how I did an extra year of college for grad school. So I was on the team for an extra year. So for example, I started working at 23 where you started working at 22. But then I also took another year before I started my business, and then another year after that before I quit my other job. So I look at that. Some people, I've had those thoughts in my mind where I was like, well, I started full time in business at 25, but then I look back and me being in touch with the reality of training in a collegiate atmosphere for 3 years post Tommy John was more valuable than me doing it 1 year after Tommy John, right? And then me working in the gym for 2 years allowed me to have much more in-person coaching experience, being in touch with the difference between youth, high school, college athletes, and then Gen Pop as well, like adults. And then on the side of that as well, it helped me learn the social media side and how to run the online part of things because I did the nutrition program at the gym, so that was remote. And so those experiences that I learned in those first 3 years of me kind of diving into coaching or whatever, even though from 22 to 25 I wasn't on my own and running my business, though that's what allowed me to have the context and the experience to do what I'm doing now. So it wasn't wasted time. Like I believe that then once I went on my own, I was able to accelerate faster because of the experience that I had. Where if I just quit track and then tried to start Jack Javelin at 22 and started with, one client that was willing to work with me versus going into a gym and then having a whole field of clientele to work with, different variety, and then coaching at Southern for 3 years as well and learning how to coach low-level athletes and high-level athletes. That experience was huge, and I was able to be in touch with different types of people. I think that's what could be hard for a lot of kids that are right out of college that want to start an online business and then go right into it. It'll take them 3 times as long to get that experience that I had in 3 years if they just do full remote. Like my experience in those 3 years from 22 to 25 was so dense because, like I said, I was doing so many different things in that time period where I was going to grad school, competing collegiately, then transitioned into coach, and then transitioned into helping a startup company in the remote setting or in the hybrid setting, online and in person. And I was able to gain so much experience that it wasn't even a lack of, it didn't even slow me down. It just accelerated me for when I did go on my own. And I just think that there's a lot of people that do go the full internet coaching realm and then they lose touch with reality because it's just them working out and then going back to their computer all day and being by themselves.
Yeah,
and just communicating with other people that think the same way as them.
That's the scariest part, like getting stuck in the bubble.
Yeah.
Because when you're by yourself in the office chair, like in your desk at home, and you're just on the computer, like you're going to just want to hear that you're doing everything correctly. And like there's no one on the outside like looking at you, like seeing, like there's no one else to hold you accountable for like your work ethic or like your product. Like it's you. ChatGPT. They probably could. But I was just going off of like that experience stuff. I didn't realize how long, like you see on paper like how long I've been working. Like we talk about it, like starting at 16, didn't really start like professionally, like with air quotes, to like 20, 21, where like we were basically running a gym and together. You had a nutrition program. I was doing 60 plus hours a week programming and everything. I trained this kid came in today that he's going into college, and I was talking to him a little bit, and I go, when was the last time like I actually trained you? Because I trained him when he was younger, and I thought it was like, what is like? He's like, the last time you trained me, I was 12. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. And I go, what are you now, 16? He goes, I'm 18. I go, holy shit. That was 6 years ago? It was 6. I was 19 when I trained you first, like when I first ever trained you. And now you're back 6 years later, like to train again. I was like, that blew my mind. I was like, that made me feel old, one. And then two was like, I've been doing this way longer than I thought. And you forget about it too, like just being in it. Like, but 6 years, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I was still playing baseball at the time too. I don't even remember the last time I touched a bat.
Yeah.
To swing.
Well, I mean, I think what's really, I mean, that's what's going to help you as well though, is when you get to the point where you're only working with the clients that you want to work with, and you're doing your own, your thing like on a higher level and bigger scale. It's it's going to be those times where you look back and you're like, oh, I remember what I was working with, just anybody. And I was working with those young kids that had no idea what they were doing. And then you're going to get to a point where hopefully you're just working with the top dogs and that's it. I was talking to Ethan today about, it was just funny because he called me up and was like talking about how they're going to the Ironwood Classic this weekend, which is one of the bigger meets. It's like a C-rank meet or something. And I was just making a joke of how like last year I was in like the professional javelin realm, but now I'm not in it anymore because I don't train like a high level guy anymore. And it was just funny because I was just like, man, I got demoted. I'm all high school now.
High school coach.
Yeah. But he's like, hey, man, the PRs are going to be flowing in. He's like, hey, when you're throwing 130 feet, there's only one way to go, but up. I was like, hey, it's true. Those high level guys, once you hit that 75 meter mark, it's tough to keep going up.
Usually they go down.
You see it all the time.
Dude, I noticed that with just not, obviously I don't compete at a high level, but just the squat, like from lifting standpoint, like is my powerlifting meet when I squatted 507 like the only time like the rest of my life I'll ever touch that again. Like I haven't even gotten close, dude. Yeah. Like I haven't even like 425 I think was the highest I've gotten to in like the last 2 years. That a little scary, but still like I don't think I'll ever be able, not ever be able to, like I don't know if like things can change and I just like decide to start squatting consistently again, even though I have, but like injuries flare up, work gets in the way, like stuff pops up as you get older, like priorities change. Because when I did it at 22, like all I cared about was lifting. Like I still care about lifting a lot right now, but like you said, like the business side of things, the podcast, just extra stuff going on inside your life. I don't know if I have the time to squat 4 times every week, and I don't know if I really want to when I have to coach 13 hours standing on my feet.
Well, the thing with that is what I've noticed is that, I'm the same boat. I've probably hit 425, same thing, the last 3 years. Last time my best ever was 465, and that was last time I did that. I was probably 21 or 22. Yeah, 22, and it's been 4 years. And I think with that, it's one of those things where it took me a ton of work to get to that point where actually the first time I ever hit 465 was the first day I ever hit above 4 plates.
Oh, shit.
So I had my max going into this was 365.
But you PR'd by 100 pounds?
Well, yeah, because it was after Tommy John. So I hit 365 my sophomore year in the fall, and I was 19. And then when I had Tommy John in the fall or in the winter time, I just trained legs, and I got my legs to the point where I was able to hit 385 for a 5x3. So I was already at my working capacity, was already 20 pounds higher than my max the year before. So that was like how I finished my cycle. I went into my deload week, worked up to my max, hit 385 for 1, 405 for 1, and then just kept climbing 10, 20, 15 pounds, whatever, until I hit 465, and then that was it.
The first time I hit 500 was the same thing.
Yeah.
465 was my max, and then I hit it, smoked it, went up 10, went up 10, went up 10.
Yeah.
And just kept going up until I hit 500 in the weight room.
But what I noticed now, though, is that, I could always squat 405 now. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never drop below that. So my baseline, whereas before, when 465 was my max, that was the first time I ever touched 4 plates. Even though I haven't hit 425 in 2 years or whatever, or more than that in 4 years, I'm still always able to hit 405. I just haven't ever gone above that because, I've said it on the podcast in the past where that in-between rep range is where I've been lacking the last 2 years, where I'll do a hypertrophy phase for a month or two, and then I'll go right into kind of just like 3s and 2s. And then I don't do enough of the 5s and the 6s and stuff to get to that point where I'm able to go above the 445. We obviously still have it, but like you said, it's just when you're trying to do all that we do, it's hard. Obviously people do it, but I think that's the day and age of coaching that we live in though now too, is I feel like a lot of people that I listen to that are in their later 30s, they talk about all these crazy athletic feats that they accomplished from 20 to 35. And I feel like they were the strength coaches that their career was just like training people and coaching and just going crazy in the weight room and crazy on the training side of them on things for themselves. And then they got to the point where they were in their 30s and they're like, all right, what do I got to do on the business side to actually make this work long term? Like
how do I make more than $100 a week?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that since we're kind of in that boat where we're like more career focused from an early age, like, I've been extremely career focused since I was 23. So the last 3 years, that's been the precedent. But it's just, it's the same. I have the same conversation with Ethan where it's like, he's a good friend of mine now. We talk about it all the time. It's like he's 30 chasing the javelin dream, which is awesome. And he'll obviously just always be better at javelin than me. But I've been able to just career-wise excel because that's been my focus.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to do everything, and you don't really realize it until you're in it. I think that when I was 23, 24, I had that idea of like, oh, I could, make six figures and coach and go to the Olympic trials. But it's like, all right, now that I'm trying to do it, it's like it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you realize
sucks.
how hard it is. And I'm like, oh, I got to get a second elbow surgery now.
Man, I ain't never going to make the Olympics. We going into a quote of the week?
Yeah, we could.
I think the one I just got tattooed is something that I always try to remember. And then Hormozi talks a lot about death too. And it's kind of freeing when you think of it. So on my arm it says Memento Mori. That's Latin, just for remember you will die. So we're all going to die one day. We were talking about life expectancy. Like whether you live to 100, 150, or 30, like doesn't matter. Like no one knows when their time is up. So you might as well do whatever the hell it is you want to do anyways. So live whatever life you want to live. Figure out what drives you, what's your passion, what's your why. Had to sneak it in. But no, figure out what it is that you really like to do and then go all in on it. We talked about it before. I knew at 16 that coaching was all I wanted to do. I knew fitness and training and being in this world there was no plan B. There was no backup plan. But yeah, there's no backup plan for me. I was like, I'm either going to, I didn't even guess it. I was like, I'm just going to do this. And whatever the hell it takes me. But I knew that from when I was 16, when I first started helping out the 8-year-olds running around in the gym I was at, I was like, I'm going to find a way to just do this for the rest of my life. So I was lucky. I was fortunate in that. A lot of kids I talk to when they're going to college, like, what's your major? I have no idea. What are you interested in? I don't know. And a lot of them led, or if they do say something, they're going to lead with money and finances and the starting salary. And I don't think that's the best way to look at it, in my opinion, because being a coach, being a strength coach, collegiate strength coach, you definitely don't do it for the money. So learning now more about different ways to help expand that. But starting salaries or average salaries for fitness coaches and strength coaches is not a lot. And I'm fully aware of that, but that wasn't even a thought of like when I first started. And I know a lot of people don't have that to their expense. Like they have to figure out finances and money situations, and not everyone's as fortunate as I am with how my parents have been supportive and having this room to do a podcast studio in. Like, very lucky, very blessed, but I know I have an opportunity and I want to make the most out of it. So I got that tattooed just to remember, like, time's fleeting. Any day could be your last, so might as well make something out of it.
Yeah. You put life into perspective like that, and then you just see where when you just commit to something long term and just have a very dedicated focus for a very long time horizon, what you can accomplish. And career wise now, like you said, your parents have been very supportive, just like mine have as well. But you see how after, only 3 years of doing it professionally, how you can make things work and really be able to dedicate a lot of time into your craft and try to push the needle forward so that you're able to have a life that you enjoy. And that's just really cool too, is I was very similar to you. I always kind of liked the idea of having, a social media platform. Like, I used to listen to Mind Pump. I always thought that was really cool. But I never saw it in general fitness and sports performance. I was like, there's so much. I always thought that there was so much competition out there. I never thought that I could do it for myself. You all right?
I'm burping too.
Oh, okay.
It's that Coke Zero, baby.
Yeah.
Aspartame.
I know. But yeah, so I just never saw it for myself. So I always had that goal of trying to become an athletic director because I figured, all right, I'd go into teaching. I'd teach for 5 years and coach after school at a high school. I figured I'd coach football, then indoor track, and then outdoor track. And then after 5 years, I'd go back and get my master's degree and then go and get certified to be an administrator. And then by the time I was 35 or 40, I could make 6 figures a year by, working my way up the chain. Mm-hmm. And then what's really cool about what happened in my life was that, for me to be able to coach Nevin and Jordan when I was 23, I couldn't take a teaching job because I knew that if I wanted to do that, which was what I wanted to do, I needed another job that would be more flexible. And then I was able to get the job at the gym where I met you, and the two worked together really well. And it's just really cool too to see how, you look at how in my mind it was like, oh, I'll get the 6-figure salary by 40, right? And then you see how now with how we're doing things now, it's actually a lot closer than what you think when you are able to, have that. Because that was my mind with the athletic director, was that it kind of combined business and athletics, which I thought was really cool, and like management. And it's just cool to see now that with how we're able to do things, you're able to do that and probably get to that goal a lot faster. It'll start off a lot more uncertain, like you're not going to have the teaching salary to start off. It's going to be, you're going to take clients and then just try to build your portfolio.
Yeah, there's no actual
like the
growth.
Like
there's no trajectory.
Yeah,
you have no idea where the arrow goes.
Exactly.
The arrow starts at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it can go up and then dip straight back down. Or there's no consistency.
Yeah. And that's where when if you were to take the teaching job, so for me, if I were to take the teaching job, you'd start off at X point and then you'd stay there until you got the bump, right? Until you did your time. Whereas when you're private sector, you own your own thing, there's never a point where it'll just, it's really up to you to just how much you want to grow it and stuff. So that's been really cool to see on my end of how when I was able to follow my intuition on what I wanted to do long term, I was able to just kind of keep walking through doors and just, one door would open, one door would close, and I'd just walk through the door that was open, and then it just led me to a new opportunity and just compounds over and over again. And then, it's cool that we're both able to kind of live our dream together right now and just do what we love. But going back to kind of like my high school thought process of becoming a history teacher and then a coach and then being an athletic director down the road, my dad sent me my senior speech from when I took a speech class my senior year and presented in front of the school. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to start off. It was basically, I titled it Trials and Tribulations. And so this talks about my junior year of high school. And so my junior year of high school, it started off by this summer. My dad lost his job right before the school year started. So, we lived a very comfortable life growing up. And then my mom didn't have the best job. And so that kind of, not that she didn't have a good job, but she wasn't she wasn't as career focused as my dad. And so we always relied on my dad's income, and so then when he lost that kind of just shook things up in my family. I felt like we were just kind of going through a weird time where I was like, I didn't really know what was going to happen. And I was getting ready to go to college next year and stuff. And I wasn't, as a kid, you don't talk to your parents about like finances like that. You just know that your dad doesn't have a job anymore and he used to make good money. So now he's at zero basically, And so that was just a lot of uncertainty there. And then we went into the football season and our team was doing really well. We were like undefeated halfway through the year. We got investigated. We started getting investigated by, the use of illegal players. So we were going into the last game of the season like 8-1. And then they basically were like, all right, you guys are guilty of this. They fired our coach and took all of our wins away. So we went into the last game 0-9. Essentially, they took all our wins, reversed them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they reversed them. We were 0-9 going into the Thanksgiving game. So last game of the season, we just played just solely for pride, basically. We ended up winning on last second field goal, which was cool. But so that season just was.
How did you guys have illegal players?
We had like a couple players that were from a neighboring town because we were a public school, and like our coach kind of enticed them to play for us, and he like fixed them an address and changed the address.
Checks out.
Yeah. And so that was illegal, and they took the whole season away. So that was depressing because that was like my first year starting varsity and whatever, and football was my life. And then the next month, basically after the season passed away, or basically after the season ended in January, my cousin passed away at 19, who went to my high school and was obviously my first cousin, you know, and we were like pretty close growing up. And so that was really hard for me to walk through with my aunt and uncle and my grandparents and stuff. And then it basically went through how I went all conference my sophomore year in track. And then my junior year, I did terrible because of a lot of stuff going on. And then we had a high school teammate that got diagnosed with leukemia as a sophomore. And so during spring football, going into our senior year, he came back, and we were all really fired up for him and excited for him to come back because he was like the best player in our grade. And then after spring football that year, he went into remission, and then basically 2 weeks later, he passed away. And basically I was at the gym that morning, and my friend called me on the phone. We went to the hospital to see him, and he was on life support. And I just saw the whole football coaching staff, like all my teammates, his friends and family. And, you know, the nurse took me into the room. He was basically just laying there in a really awful condition. I said my last words to him. We went back, and then they came in and told us that he passed away. And so then that's how the speech started off. It's pretty heavy. But then I just finished the speech by saying, senior year was better. During football season, we went 8-2, won the conference championship, let me start over. All right. So I said, but throughout all the circumstances I am put through, I just keep going. At the end of the day, I have to be able to look myself in the mirror and tell myself I gave it everything I had. Through the loss of sleep, long hours at practice and in the gym, long shifts at Stop and Shop, late nights studying, through the heartbreak of lost loved ones, I stay motivated. There is never a moment throughout that year where I did not give every ounce of effort to overcome any obstacle that was thrown my way. So then it just talks about how my senior year was a lot better, and I did really well athletically, and got a new job and just kind of continued to push forward. So that was kind of cool for me to reflect on, just to see like a lot of my story is based on a lot of the hard stuff that happened to me in the past. Now, I mean, that was all pre-Tommy John, pre-college, all that stuff. And so that was like who shaped me going into college. And then obviously like my javelin story was rough with COVID and Tommy John and, you know, all the complications that came afterwards and then all that stuff. But like, yeah, so I just thought it was cool because like a lot of my story and who I am today is based on me being forced to grow up when I was 16 years old. So,
damn.
Yeah.
That wasn't pretty heavy. That's a heavy way to start a speech.
Yeah. I mean, I remember even my teacher saying like, all right, because there's a couple other things too. Like my grandma passed away that year. I was like, I didn't even put that in because it was just like, I mean, what am I going to just like, I can't just
trauma dump on everybody.
Yeah, I know. It was just so
Here's
much.
all the bad stuff that happened to me this year.
Yeah. But I was like 2016, 2015, by far one of the worst years of my life.
That's making me think of that quote that everyone talks about, is like hard times make strong men type make like peaceful times, and then peaceful times make weak men. Like there's a lot of just, I don't know if a lot of people just go through adversity like that at that young age. Like it essentially forced you to grow up.
Oh, it did. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good testament of like how you are as a person today.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think that anyone that knows me, you know, I'm pretty lighthearted. Like once you get to know me like closely,
you don't come off as that.
But yeah, I do not come off.
Not
no, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I don't. No, you The first time I ever met you, I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" He's just standing there like stone cold face,
Yeah.
just menacing presence.
Yeah. Well, it's like
And then you just crack a joke, and you're like, "All right, this guy's pretty funny."
yeah.
It's like a really stupid joke too that only we would get.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that was pretty good.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's like you said, I don't come across that way. Like, you know, even now I have a very, very small circle of friends. I work from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed most days of the week. And I'm just very, very serious about everything I do. But along with that seriousness, I also find my own way to like make it lighthearted with the people that I'm close to. So like you, Zach, Anna, Nevin, Jordan, they kind of get that side of me. But like anyone else doesn't really see that side of me that much.
Yeah, even on Instagram, your comments are funny because no one knows if you're serious or not. That's
Yeah.
the best part.
Yeah.
That's the best part, being on the in and like knowing it.
Yeah.
It's good we're doing the podcast just like maybe people see you in a different light. Because I remember the first time when I went to my internship, like one of the workers there, she said they like stalked my Instagram. Like this is the time like I was posting a little bit. Like I wasn't crazy. I was just posting my lifts. Like no real like mindset, not even mindset, but like no real like educational stuff. Just like here's me working out. Like this is all I'm doing today. She was like, dude, I thought you were gonna be a dick.
Yeah.
Like I thought you were really giving off like just douchebag vibes. That's what she said to me, like word for word, like douchebag vibes. Yeah, that's really how I look like in social media. And then it made me rethink of like how I post and respond to people too, and like how I just present myself. But at the end of the day, like if people see you on social media and they form an opinion on you immediately, it's pretty low IQ.
Yeah.
That's pretty dumb. Like you're judging somebody off a 10-second clip.
Yeah. I mean, I always say that that's what the long form content's for. The Instagram is just the preview and the highlights and stuff. You know, if you really want to get a better sense of who I am and stuff, I mean, you listen to the podcast. I'm pretty open about a decent amount on here. You know, you look into the YouTube. I'm able to give more full blown explanations about training and javelin and whatnot. But last thing before we go into the last segment here,
We
but
don't even have to talk about that today, to be honest.
really,
It's not fitting the flow of this pod.
all right, whatever.
Because it's so like off brand for like what we've been talking about. Like I feel like this podcast has gotten pretty deep.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
fine. Should I just read the full speech now? No, but I remember even Wallen was telling me when I first started Jack Javelin, before it was even titled Jack Javelin.
What was the title before Jack? Dude, were you messing with different names?
No, it was just Dan Lab dot our gym that we used to work at.
I mean, you could say it. It's not real anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Upward. Yeah, it was just Dan Lab dot Upward HP.
Did you have a draft of different names for your business, or did you just have Jack Javelin?
No, dude, you and I were joking about because I was
That's
like,
right. I didn't want to take credit. I didn't want to say like I thought I said it or like that. Like we definitely joked about it.
well, I mean, because anyone that knows how it started was, and this is what's crazy to me, right? Because like you see, like the vision that I have now for where I'm going, it started when I had such little traction.
You had 300 followers.
Dude, I had
You posted a shirtless video of you doing barbell rows, and I got like 10,000 likes for some reason.
No, no, listen. I had 300 followers. I was about to go to nationals, and the video that I just posted of Jordan throwing 74 at New England's, it was at like 3,000 likes, and that's that one clip or whatever. That's all it took for me to be like, I'm gonna write a workout program on javelin stuff because I had. Then I went from like 300. By the time 2 weeks later we went to nationals.
5,000.
No, 700.
Oh yeah.
This
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
that's right.
early.
Oh,
This was
early.
May of
Yeah,
2023.
yeah.
So I posted that clip of Jordan doing that. I go from like 300 to 700. So in my mind, I'm like, dude, I just doubled.
Dude,
I did double.
we more than doubled.
But it's crazy for me to think about like how that's like all it took. And then when we were at nationals, I was writing the workout program. And so I was writing the whole like, all right, it's going to be, hypertrophy, then submax, and then max effort strength. And it's going to be a lot of the mobility stuff, and then squat, bench, deadlift, and hypertrophy and jumping and stuff, right? And so it's like athletic, but then you have the mobility side, which is important for arm care and hips and spine. But then you have the lifting side to get jacked, and it's for javelin throwers. Because at this point, out of the 400 people that just followed me in the last 2 weeks,
all javelin.
it was all javelin throwers. So it's like now I had like, even though out of those 400, I probably had like 15 javelin throwers like DM me asking for tips because they just saw Jordan threw 74. So I was like, oh, like, I think I might be able to go through with this and do something with it. And I was already working on the online stuff with the nutrition anyway. I was like, it just made sense. And so then by the time I got home from that trip, I was at like 1,000. And then, I took the whole summer to film the program. And so as we were kind of talking about it, you were like, what are you going to name it? Like Jack Javelin? And I was like, yeah, I think so. Like, I think that's kind of cool. Like, I'll just do that. And then like, that was it. It was just like,
it was like a 5-second conversation.
Yeah. Like one comment that you made, it was just like, we were talking about like javelin throwers being jacked. I was like, yeah, I just want to like bring the jacked and like the mainstream to javelin,
bench
like,
heavy, throw far.
Yeah, I was like,
it's all about the bench press.
Yeah, so like that whole summer, all I was posting about was just like lifting for javelin throwers, Johannes Vetter being jacked, Team Germany in the jeans,
the black and white photo, they're all ripped.
Yeah, and so then by the I kept going with that summer. I had a couple clients, so I was starting to make a little bit of money on the side, training clients, doing javelin stuff. And then I released the program in December. But then by the time I released the program, I was at 7,000. I changed the name to Jack Javelin. I started a YouTube, and then we had the podcast. So that's when I started really going all in on it. But it's just funny for me to think about like how going from 300 to 700 was that's when I made that decision. I was like, I'm gonna do a program for this type of training.
It's crazy. It took you 400 followers to like finally get that push. It took me 110,000 followers to get that push. I was like, I should definitely probably do something with this.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, but
you should make your program like, I think you should make it about
the old school.
Yeah, I mean, like I think you got to ride that wave. Like that's what people follow you for, really. I mean,
that'll be the one of
that's what blows up.
I got an idea. I got some ideas that I'll talk to you off pod about. About the behind the scenes confidential Hitman Performance pod. But yeah, I mean the old school stuff. Joel Smith Just Fly just commented today, and it was
when you hopping on.
No, yeah, when you hopping on. He commented like, old school workout clips, like 10,000 likes, zone 2 cardio ... and like a smiley face.
That's so funny.
And he's like, really good training modality though. And I go, maybe if I put it in black and white, it'd get more clicks, get more views. Maybe if I said the Soviets did this, it would blow up. That's all people care about. They love the old school stuff.
The Werner Gunther clips.
Gunther, he's a freak. He's a big dude. But the Soviet clips, the Verkhoshansky stuff, like the old school plyometrics and the fast twitch Archuleta stuff. Like, we've talked about it a lot, and I've posted about it a lot, but all that old school stuff is just so interesting to me. And the fact that it's like untapped. It's not, people talk about like, you're laughing about like the Garage Strength pod on Coach 'Em Up with Tim Riley. We're like, oh, the Archuleta stuff resurfaced again. It's like every 5 years. All right, dude, shut up. It's cool. Let me post it. leave me alone. He's like, oh, I was doing it 20 years ago. I'm like, well, no one's doing it now. So I posted about it.
Yeah.
My bad. Thought it was cool. But like the old school stuff, just they did a lot of stuff right. And I feel like with the functional training, optimization, pendulum, Swift, I feel like every couple years the fitness industry is always just going to keep swinging back and forth. And I think it's just cool to see what people did back then.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, especially when mobility ability came out with Kevin, I mean, I even know it in myself. I went too far of the static mobility and the barefoot jogging stuff, and then not enough of the sprinting, plyometrics, fast, explosive stuff. Because that's where I could see the downfall myself. And then obviously with my programs reflect that as well, with strong and mobile being the first one and then fast twitch being the second one. I mean, I still believe in that philosophy of you lay the foundation with the static mobility, the muscle building, a little bit of plyometrics here and there. And then once you establish that base, then you transition to the plyometrics and the drop catches and all the fast stuff and, training then more in the unilateral position and stuff. I don't think it necessarily has to be done in that order. That's just the way that I've structured it because whatever, just for different reasons. But I think that, like, I know for me, I was definitely in that, like, I don't know if you want to call it a hamster wheel or just limited mind frame of thinking of just like, oh, to be a good javelin thrower, all I had to do was static mobility and like barefoot jogging. And it's like, all right, well, actually, that's a good foundation, but you need to be super fast and explosive.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
gotta build upon that foundation.
Yeah.
Like if you just keep laying the base, like you got a really long, large base, but there's no building yet.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
there's no top of it. Like you got to build upon it with the strength and the power, then like the speed and agility and the plyometrics and the fast switch stuff. Like you have to get it up so you get the top of the pyramid. If all you do is like my same thing, I was never just focusing on mobility and barefoot jogging. I never did that shit in my life. But my focus was squat, bench, deadlift, powerlifting, get strong, get really, really strong. And so my strength base was relatively really big. But my unilateral pogo, like the pogo hops, single leg explosiveness just wasn't there. Like very clear asymmetries where my 1 foot hopping was just terrible. Like I just felt like stuck. Side to side wasn't the greatest. Power output, I was jumping 27 inches with a 455 back squat. It's like it's not really transferring. Like there's dudes that squat 225 that jump 27 plus. Like you don't need like that whole elastic property, and that's what I was talking about, the masculine and feminine energy, the hard and the soft training for those that got triggered by it. Like I was never on the soft side. I never did the soft style of training of the rhythm, like finding rhythm, elusiveness, the flowy state of training. Like I never did that stuff. I was all squat, deadlift, trap bar deadlift, bench, incline bench, west side, conjugate, stuff like that. And it made me really strong, but it just didn't make me like it to a point didn't make me a better athlete. Like it got me to a point, and then I should have done something to like bridge that gap. I had to say it. Bridge the gap of like the strength and then the speed and power.
Well, let me ask you this just from your perspective. When I was going through that time, I guess we would have been early 20s, right? Would have been like from 2019 to probably 22, 23. Do you think that from your perspective, was social media more about the static mobility and like because I remember being huge into like, oh my God, you got like ATG and then Squat University and then mobility ability. So everything that I thought I was lacking and missing was just in the stretching and the spinal segmentation and the ATG movements. And that's all I did. And then it wasn't really until I met you, ironically enough, that I started being like, oh my God, there's like this whole other side of like plyometrics and, you know, pogos. And I mean, we did pogos, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like depth drops and depth drops to like a touch.
Weighted jumps.
Dumbbell
band
jumps.
assisted jumps. Never did those until I met you. So, like, am I wrong for thinking that, or was that just like the content that I was consuming?
I think it was the content you were consuming because you were really into Kevin's stuff, and I remember being in that whole Instagram world too. And I don't even know who to give credit for this speed stuff. I guess Zach DeCant would be the first one that I took from a lot of that stuff, and then Les Spellman, Tony Holler, like those guys, like that post a lot of their plyometrics, X Factor drills with Tony Holler, like his Feed the Cat system. Like that's when I got really big into sprinting. Boyle says he as soon as he implemented time sprints, like all his athletes got a lot better, like their weights got a lot better, they just got faster, so their central nervous system's firing at a higher rate than it was previously. And he doesn't teach speed and agility stuff. He just sets the lasers up and says sprint, and kids are going to figure it out. And like, I think that around that time, I can't pinpoint it to one like exact thing, but I remember Workhorse, when he started posting too of his like racehorse stuff, that got me into the Cal Dietz world. Like I've done triphasic, air quotes, it was just French contrast training. Like everyone loves to just call French contrast triphasic. Triphasic, there's so much more to it. There's so much stuff that he gets into that if you really dive down that rabbit hole, you'll be there for hours. Like it is not just like like 6 second eccentric with a jump, weighted jump, unloaded jump. Like it's not just that. Like there's way more to it. That's the simplified meathead version in my opinion. Like, oh, I'm jumping more because I got this is way better because I got 4. It's a superset, so it's like a primer. It's science based. It's better. Not really. Like there's so much that goes into it that I was just completely unaware of. And I think when I got really big into sprinting was when I went to a Boyle conference during my internship, and Les Spellman gave a presentation. And so I watched Les Spellman give like an hour and a half presentation on all the stuff that he did. Immediately implemented it right away. As soon as I got back, I was doing the A switches and stuff. And then that led me to the Tony Holler world and the Alta stuff. And then the Cal Dietz fast twitch GHD random shit that they were doing. Still don't understand. I read his book and still have no idea what's going on. Like I guess I'm just an idiot. But I think that's around the time that, because I saw Kevin's stuff, the mobility stuff, the range of strength around the same time. So like as soon as you follow one, like you start to follow like all the other people too. Like Ben Baguette, everyone was doing a back bend.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge thing.
Spinal engine.
The spinal engine theory. Like that's going to come back around, I think, soon. Just because it was big, but it kind of like it's not on your feet a lot, I'm assuming right now.
No.
Like now it's just business courses and coaches telling you how to run a business.
That's a big loop right now. I feel like it's not as bad as it was like a year ago.
Dude, it's like it's every business though. It's not just fitness. I think we just see it in fitness.
Yeah.
But it's just these courses, like digital creators.
Well, that's like what Hermosi was. Hermosi was on a podcast where someone asked him, how do you feel about the people that have a school platform to teach other people how to use school? And he was like, I mean, honestly, he's like, there's nothing I could do about it. It's just how it is. He's like, there's YouTube videos on teaching people how to make better YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people have like full blown YouTube channel teaching like title, thumbnail, SEO optimization, editing, and how to get a bigger YouTube audience on YouTube. So he's like, obviously there's going to be people that have a school platform that just teach other people how to leverage school. It's just how it is.
It's every industry.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want to teach how to make more money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's part of it. I mean, I guess it's, as long as you're not doing it for the wrong reasons, I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of people help me with what I'm doing. I never had to pay for it before, thankfully. But, aside from buying Hermosi's books for $30 each.
Yeah, those are worth it. New one's coming soon.
I know.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Take the whole month off.
I know.
Read it every day, front to back, every single day.
I know. Hopefully he puts out an Audible on it because I like to listen to it while
He usually
I read.
puts it on Spotify for free.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to post that right away, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he might. But
it's on his website.
Yeah, it could be on his website. Yeah.
Acquisition.com.
Yeah.
Hermosi, please.
Plug it.
Plug it. Hermosi, please sponsor us, meet us, talk to us once.
Dude, Range of Strength, talk to him.
Yeah, I know. You told me. And they were both trying to sell each other their own thing.
Something like that, yeah.
They were going back and forth.
Hey, man. It's like the Spider-Man guy.
Dude.
The Spider-Man thing where he's like, wait a minute, who's who?
I would love to see that of like an Andy Elliott type salesman. Like two of them. Like two totally different dudes, but like the same like charisma.
Yeah.
And like the mindset of like not losing a sale. And like they both talk to each other and they try to sell each other their own thing. And like they just keep going back and forth with like different what's the word when they like reject, like different rejections.
Yeah.
And they just keep going back and you see them like it's like two master samurai just sword fighting back and forth. It's just these two douchebag salesmen going back and forth being like, your wife hates you. It's like, yeah, your kids hate you too. And they just keep going back and forth. AI's got to create that. That's got to be an AI creation.
Need it.
All right, good pod. Shout out Manny Ramirez.
Yeah. Shout out Stopwatch.
Shout out Stopwatch. Thanks for tuning in.
And if you enjoyed it, please leave a 5-star rating and review and share the show, because the only way that this show grows is if you like it, share it, and tell your friends and family about it.
New episode every Monday.